Max, this weekend is the state 7-on-7 tournament.
That's true.
Down in College Station, Texas. It's a city, Max. You may have heard there's a university there. I forget which one.
Yeah.
I want to say Rice.
Yeah.
A&M is down there, and so is the state 7-on-7 tournament, and so will be you, other guy. You'll be there.
Yes. Thursday I will be there.
Thursday you will be there. You can go meet the other guy. You can also meet DCTF High School football insider Matt Stepp, who joins us now.
That's a deal.
Matt, I know that this is kind of like Christmas for you. I know you love the state 7-on-7 tournament.
I do. It's a lot of fun, and anytime I can get 128 teams and coaches in one place, I will be there bugging coaches and trying to glean any little nuggets for this season that I can, and then make sure that I pass them on secretly to you and Max.
Thank you. That's
Secretly.
That's why we pay you the big bucks. Now, I do want to ask you. We've been to like some state qualifying tournaments, and I know you have, and the head coaches being there because they can't be involved. For those who don't know, 7-on-7 coaches cannot be involved. Can't be coaching the teams, but they can be there. And I know that at 7-on-7 tournaments that we've been to, kind of qualifying tournaments, there have been handful of coaches there. When you go to state, it's pretty much everyone. Is that right?
Oh yeah. The head coaches don't want to miss this. They may miss the qualifiers if they have other things going on. But I'd say of the 128 teams, I bet 120 of the head coaches will probably be there. You may have a couple who have vacations scheduled and they didn't think their team would qualify, that kind of thing. But I think for the most part, I bet 90 to 95% of them will be there. So that's a good thing because that means great fodder. We can have some fun, maybe try to snag some gear for the swag shop. I've got a couple of things working, things like that.
So I do want to ask you about what this means for the fall. You've got a great write-up up on TexasFootball.com. And 7-on-7 is, I think we all think, a nice appetizer. But ultimately, the big question we all have is, okay, you're good at 7-on-7. What does that mean for the 2017 football season? So in doing your research and looking back, what kind of correlation have you seen between success in 7-on-7 and success in 11-man football?
Well, let's get it right. It's the chips and salsa to the great Mexican food.
That's a good way to be. Yeah, it's our chips and
Texas high
salsa.
school football season. We have to equate things to food around here. It's just what we do.
Sure.
Me and Max and the other guy and I were talking about it, and after about 2007, it seems there was to be a big change in 7-on-7 as the growth of the game, more and more teams participated, and as the pool of teams expanded, I think the quality of play and the quality of teams that were having success in 7-on-7 changed. Where you'd have, for the most part, there's always exceptions, but for the most part, in the past 10 years, teams that win in 7-on-7, generally speaking, win in the fall. Is it the chicken or the egg? It's probably, and it's hard to say, but I think it's at least a good marker and indicator of potential success in the fall. And I believe the past 10 years, the state champion in Division I has posted an average record of 10-3 in the fall.
Nice.
It's pretty good. If you go 10-3 in the fall, most teams will be pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
And last year, the anomaly last year was that the success of the teams that made the quarterfinals in both divisions was really fantastic. I think in Division I, the top 8 teams went 96-14 combined in the fall, including DeSoto, who won the state title in Division II, and the Woodlands, who was a state runner-up. So, those are markers of success. I think it's all a matter of how each individual team approaches 7-on-7. Are they running what they run in the fall in 7-on-7? I think if they are, you can take a lot from the results and apply it to the fall. If they're running a junk scheme, so to speak, which basically would mean an offensive defense designed for success in 7-on-7 that you can't use in the fall. If your offense is predicated on 3-yard crossing routes, you probably not going to run 3-yard crossing routes in the fall, so you're probably not going to have a lot of success in real football. So I think it really matters based on the individual team.
We're talking with DCTF High School football insider Matt Stepp here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation, #DCTF Live. So the pools are out. We know who's in, and we know who's playing whom in the tournament format. They are 4-team pods, and then you advance from there. Think of it like the World Cup in a lot of respects.
Sure.
Let's bring it to soccer. I like that, Greg. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I want to ask you, let's start with Division I, which is the big schools, right? This is 6A, 5A, 4A, isn't that right? Or it's 4A? 4A
no,
goes to
just
Division
6A, 5A. 6A, 5A in large private schools.
6A, 5A, large private schools. Give me 2, maybe 3 teams you're excited to see two to three teams you are interested in watching and getting a feel for the upcoming season.
Let's start in the Austin area. I really want to see Hutto.
Mm-hmm.
They've really had some impressive results. Steve Van Meter had a lot of success at Friendswood. Hutto's been a good team the past couple of years, and looking at their results this summer, they've been really, really strong. So I'm interested to see how the Hippos match up, and I believe their pool, they're featured with Manville and Arlington Lamar, two really outstanding programs as well. So that's a pool that I'm watching really closely. And then I call it the pool of death. I can't remember which pool it is, but what pool letter it is, but it's got DeSoto, a pretty good program there. Pearland, they're okay.
Not bad.
Longview, they're not bad.
Okay, I've heard of them.
Yeah, and then we kind of throw these guys out on the side, but Lubbock Coronado, who I think went 11-2 last year, and they have Quay Gray back at quarterback. So that's a pod of 4 teams that's really, really brutal, and there's going to be some great action in that pod. So those are kind of some of the teams I'm watching. Keep an eye on Mercedes down in the Rio Grande Valley. They're always a really scrappy 7-on-7 team. Could be a potential team to watch. And I think out of East Texas, I'm really interested to see Marshall. Claude Mathis got them going. They qualified last week at Rowlett, so I'm really interested to see how the Mavericks stack up in the state tournament as well.
And then let's move down to Division II, the smaller schools. 4A, 3A, 2A are the teams that primarily comprise Division II. Salina, of course, is the most successful 7-on-7 team in state history. They've also had some pretty decent success in 11-man. I imagine they're one of the teams you have your eye on. Who else do you have your eye on?
I think the two teams that really I think are favorites would be Salina would be one, and I think Graham is the other. Graham, 3 years in a row played for a state title in 7-on-7 and won 2 state titles, 2013, 2014, and turned those seasons into runs to the state semifinals. Argyle as well. I mean, another highly successful program in real football. They're also really, really good at 7-on-7. So you look at that North Texas DFW area, and there's 3 teams right there that really all are contenders to win the state championship in 7-on-7. If you look outside of the DFW area, Somerset made a run last year all the way to the championship game, losing to Kaufman. I think with Zadok Dinkelman back, they're going to definitely be a favorite. I mean, anytime you have an elite quarterback, especially at that level, you can make some noise. And Carthage, Carthage was a quarterfinalist last year as well. And hey, shockingly, they're good at real football too. They're really, really good at 7-on-7. People wouldn't think they would be good at 7-on-7 just because of that they don't run a true spread offense. But one thing that sets Carthage apart for me is, number one, how competitive their kids are. That starts at the top with Coach Scott Surratt and the kind of program that he runs. Their kids are ultra, ultra competitive. They hate to lose at anything. Rock, paper, scissors, 7-on-7, real football. They don't like to lose, and they've got a lot of great athletes. So they may not run the true 7-on-7 spread offense, but they can get by and really be a thorn in people's side just because of how they defend a lot of the time. And then if you're looking for a sleeper, I think Lubbock Estacado. I think Marcus Shaver's out there. Those guys really, really have a chance to make some noise. I think they're a sleeper, and Bay City is another sleeper. And, hey, they're in the same pool, so that'll be a fun pool to watch as well.
I'm glad you brought up sleepers. That was going to be kind of my next question. Give me a team to watch that you're excited to come, either because it's their first time there, or maybe they're coming a long distance and you don't have an opportunity to see them as often. What are some of maybe, let's call them the variety teams, right? Teams that maybe aren't at the top of everybody's. They could win the state the 7-on-7 tournament list, but maybe a team that you in particular are excited about for some other reason.
I'll name one more in Division II before I move to Division I. I said Bay City and Estacado. I think Cuero is another one that I think really kind of they're not typically great at 7-on-7. They're not bad, but this is kind of, I think, only the second time they've made the state tournament in the past 15 years. They've got a lot of great talent, so I'm interested to see what the Gobblers can do. And if I go Division I, I'm going to go with El Paso Eastlake. This is the second straight time they've been in the state tournament. They went last year for the first time. Had a good showing. That they definitely made a good accounting of themselves. Now the second year in, I think they're going to be a team that knows what to do at state. They know the competition, and they beat El Paso Eastwood in qualifying. And Eastwood, you guys saw personally how good Eastwood was. So I think Eastlake is a team that really, they're in a tough pool, but I think they're a team that really cannot be discounted.
We're talking with DCTF High School Football Insider Matt Stepp here on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation, #DCTF Live. All right, we've been talking about teams to watch. I want to talk about the people who will be watching them. You are, of course, a veteran of going to the state 7-on-7 tournament. For somebody who maybe now, Max, you've been to the state 7-on-7 tournament.
Oh God.
Okay. Yes. Many
of
times.
them.
Okay. For somebody
Yes,
who's
for sure.
maybe making their first trip to College Station.
You mean the surface of the sun?
Yes. What kind of advice would you offer to maybe people who want to come out and watch this?
Bring a chair
Okay.
and bring a covering for your head, for sure, and bring sunblock. And I think if you're a general high school football fan, if you're not attached to a particular team, try to pull a schedule up and try to make a little schedule of some of the teams and games you want to watch and kind of bounce around from field to field. Obviously, if you're following one particular team, you want to follow that team and go to their field. But if you're just a general high school football fan and want to see some good action in the summer, kind of make a little schedule and kind of plan out your day a little bit and kind of bounce around from field to field and kind of take it all in. But definitely lots of sunblock, bring a chair, and be ready to be a little bit uncomfortable because it's actually – but you know what? The weather forecast, knock on wood, doesn't look horrible this year. So me and Max are we have our fingers crossed that it's going to be a good forecast.
There, yeah, I mean, if Matt has to, it has been 97 – and you're there from 7 a.m. till 7 at night, and there's nowhere to hide.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 4 trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the trees are it's not. Yeah, it can be. There's been the humidity in College Station can get a little rough. It can get a little miserable. But hey, come on out anyway. It's going to be fun.
What a sales job. He's Matt Stepp, DCTF High School Football Insider. Follow him on Twitter at Matt_Steppapa817. And heck, go to College Station and meet him yourself. Stepp, appreciate your time. Enjoy College Station.
And Greg, you enjoy DC.
I will. Take care.